Hello, beautiful people. I hope that you guys are doing well. Welcome back to a new video. And it's been a while that I did a new video, especially like this, showing my face. And yeah, this video is going to be like the extended version you are going to be seeing on my Esoterica channel. And I thought that I'm going to talk about predictions 2024 by countries. So I want to talk about energies that are entering our lives and our consciousness as well, because there are lots of changes that are coming. And when it comes to predictions, nothing is really set in stone. Everything is based on the current energies, so the present energies, and the most probable outcome based on the current energies. So yeah, interesting year is ahead, and as I'm recording this video is the 31st of December and it's the last day of the year. And I have to say that this year has been full of plot twists, sudden changes, unexpected changes, unexpected surprises, I can say. So negative and positive as well, but in overall I can say that I'm very happy with everything that happened, and I'm very happy with my choices, my decisions. So it was a year of exploration and then also expansion. So expansion on many levels, expansion when it comes to our consciousness, collective consciousness, but the individual is forming always the collective. And I can say that of myself as well, that I have been through so many things and so many unexpected events, and they were like expanding my consciousness. And now as I'm closing the year, I have a much more expanded awareness and much more expanded consciousness as well, thanks to all the events. So many things have happened in my life, moving around, yeah, lots of changes, but I'm very happy in overall about everything that was going on. So I hope that you guys, when you're reflecting back to everything that happened with you last year, I mean, when you are watching this video, it's gonna be probably already 2024. When you are reflecting back, you will be able to say that it was worth it. It was worth all the effort, all the uncertainty probably. It was a year of uncertainty and a year of proving us that nothing is really set in stone, and there's no safety in the classical sense in the word. There's no safety as we know safety. Safety has a different meaning now for many of us. Safety has a different definition for many of us. And the classical sense of the safety net and the definition of the safety net is changing for many of us. And I think this year has changed our definition of that. So, all right, guys, so let's get into that and let's see what is coming for 2024. I'm gonna put the timestamps down below for each country. So I'm gonna talk about the EU, UK, US, Australia, Canada, Russia, China, Ukraine, Israel, and Gaza. Israel and Gaza, I'm gonna talk about, as an entity, even though it's not a single entity, but like the overall energies that will be dominant in 2024. Alright, so 2024, what is this year about? 2024 numerologically is number 8, because so the sum of the numbers in the year of 2024 are 8, 2 plus 2 plus 4. And number 8 is being associated with strength, power, resilience, determination. Okay, so determination will be a theme in 2024. And determination also means that your strength and your willingness to be resilient, or your power, your personal power, will be tested. So we will have to understand what is the lack of power in certain situations in order to understand what is power. Okay, so in order to understand the definition of power and what power means for each and one of us personally, because it's different. Each and one of us have a different definition of strength and power, and also a different relationship with power. So in order to understand that individually, we will have to understand what is the lack of power. So the years prior to 2024 were testing our power. 2023 was represented by number 7, and number 7 is the number of expansion, the number of plot twists, changes. But number 7 is a trial. Number 7 is many times full of trials and tribulations. It is full of those energies of initiation, so energies that are testing you and are initiating you to a higher level of understanding. Okay, 2024 will be about, okay, what is your strength? Because now you will need your determination. Now you will need those energies of resilience and determination. How bad you want something, how bad you want to put something into action, and how bad you want something to materialize in your life, to materialize and to manifest in your life, okay? And because of that, because we are having an opportunity to gain a lot of strength and a lot of power and resilience, just because of that, we will be able to manifest more. Okay, so number 8 is also carrying this karmic charge, let's say, power, karmic destiny. So number 8 is the number of karmic power, karmic destiny, and it's deeply spiritual as well. So it's a deeply spiritual number. It is representing the universal law of as above, so below. Okay, as within, so without. So it will be, everybody that we are meeting will be a great reflection of our own energy. So we are not only gaining awareness about our shadows, but it will give us the strength and the stamina, and then also the determination to bring into manifestation what is above into below, okay? What is within to be externalized in the outside reality, okay? So it's a real year of manifestation. It is the year of connection to our true authentic selves. It is a year of connecting to what we are on a core level. And without being able to connect to what we are on a core level, we won't be able to proceed forward. Okay, so 2024 won't be a year when you can go against yourself or you can go against your own nature. No, you will be stopped. So if you have any attempt to go against your true nature, your true desires, your true values, your core values, you will be stopped. So you will be, in a sense, forced to be very aligned with your true desires and your true power and your path, your spiritual path. Okay, so 2024, if you're not aware of what you want, will force you, in a sense, to get to know what you want. All right, so it is the year of connection to yourself, therefore to others as well, but connection on a very authentic, very honest level, let's just say, very genuine level. It is a year of manifesting your true desires, and your manifestation can come at a greater power, a greater level, greater ease this year, let's say. So you can manifest at a greater ease than before, and things that no longer are for you and are no longer are matching our true values will not remain. They will leave also with ease, okay? So they will not leave all of a sudden as they did in 2023. They will leave with more ease, okay? With less drama. Also, things that are a match to our true selves will come with a greater ease, okay? Be it relationships, be it people, places, circumstances, so on and so on, okay? So 2024 is the year of the destined path, where if you have not found your destiny yet, or you have not found your authentic direction in life, you will have the opportunity to find it in 2024. All right, so this is what I wanted to say, like in overall, as about 2024 numerologically, what it means. And let's get into the countries. Okay, so you will find the timestamps below. So let's start with the EU. So these predictions are based on certain downloads that I received, intuitive insights as well, and then also I pulled some cards as well. So it's like a combination of those things. Okay, so the European Union. So what I got about the European Union is that the EU needs to see beyond the mask. I mean, people in the EU. So we are talking about the countries of the EU. They are needing to see beyond the mask and beyond what's going on behind the scenes. When I talk about what is going on behind the scenes, I talk about the mask that is being put, okay, that is being presented to us, and people need to finally see what is going on in reality, because what is going on in reality has nothing to do with what is being presented in the news, which is obviously is not a surprise for us, okay. What I got was that some potential revelations can happen, okay? Revelation of things that are rotten underneath the mask and that are rotten underneath the sparkly exterior. People in the EU need to follow their intuition in 2024 and not what is familiar. Okay, so the familiar ways of doing things and oh, this is how we are operating and this is how we are dealing with certain things will no longer be applicable. People need to follow their intuition if they want to go somewhere, otherwise they will be led in the wrong direction. Okay, so not what is familiar is the way in 2024 for the European Union. Okay, what I got about the EU also was that there's a great push for the abolishment of family and family values. So that is continuing in 2024, and maybe it will reach some extremes or it will reach levels of insanity. And perhaps that is something that people need to see in the European Union in order to wake up and in order to ask themselves, what is this about? So we are talking about human rights, we are talking about the war of genders, gender war, we are talking about LGBTQ and the extreme direction in which this group is going. Okay, so certain things need to go in an extreme in order to come back to the middle. All right, and in order for people to start asking questions. So family values will be continuing to be pushed aside, suppressed, and rewritten. There are some hard lessons about what is going on behind the scenes. Okay, so this is what I got that can be related to human rights and so on. And there are some hard choices as well that the EU needs to make, and perhaps people in the European Union need to make as well, and the countries, okay, the members of the European Union. What I got also was that freedom is up to your choice. Okay, so freedom is up to each country's choice. So what I'm getting intuitively is that perhaps each country will respond differently to certain new rules, but also people need to wake up to their power that freedom is their choice, and it is really up to them if they want to proceed forward with their freedom. Okay, so you cannot lose your freedom unless you agree with that. And that is very much like a Pluto in Aquarius thing. So there is very much this energy of Pluto in Aquarius where people are having the power, or people start to have the power. But we also have to be careful, not only in the EU but all around the world, because these groups that want to abolish and want to suppress human rights and want to rewrite human rights, they are always hiding behind minorities, minority groups, and they are hiding behind humanitarian actions and certain movements, okay, different movements. What I also got about the EU was that speaking up against injustice and justice being revealed can be a thing also, but also there's a chance for injustice to go to extremes in order to see the light of the day. Okay, so injustice can reach an extreme in certain situations in order to be revealed. I asked about the CBDC as well, and what I got about the EU is that it is not set in stone yet in 2024, even though it seemed in 2023 that it will be a thing. But as I said, nothing is set in stone when it comes to predictions, and any prediction is basically an invitation to a timeline when certain things can happen. So please use your discernment also when you're listening to this message and when you are watching my video, okay? Because everything can change, and any small change in the present moment can change the future as well, okay? So what I got was that it is not sure that it will be introduced in 2024 in the European Union. I got very slow movement towards the introduction, so a slowing down of energies. And I also got that if certain countries will introduce it, it will be in the initial stages, or it will be in the stage of piloting. So that is the most probable outcome, what I see. I see that there will be some partnering with other countries or financial institutions partnering with each other or cooperating with each other, so something like that, working on infrastructure, planning international talks about it as well. So basically what I got strongly was that it will be in the initial stages and it will be in the planning stage. So probably there will be some partnerships between different countries, and there will be like small steps being taken towards it. But I don't see 2024 necessarily as the year of the introduction of CBDC in the European Union. Alright, so I also checked the energy, so the overall energies and energetic level of the European Union based on Dr. David Hawkins' chart. So if you're not familiar with the chart, there are different levels of consciousness, and I think I'm gonna put it on the screen, so you will be seeing this particular chart, and each level is representing a particular energy. Okay, so what I got back in 2022, about the overall energy of 2023 was that it will be at the level of willingness. So humanity will be at the level of willingness, which is great because it's above courage. However, I checked it again, and what I got in 2024 about the average energy level of the world was that it's decreasing, so it will be less, and it will be unfortunately between anger 150 and pride 175. Okay, but I will be talking about that, so I'm gonna repeat that at the end. So those of you that are skipping the EU, you will be hearing it again. All right, so that is the European Union. UK. Okay, so I asked about the UK as well, and the dominant energy, interestingly, in the UK is very much like a crisis energy. So it's a crisis situation. What I got, apathy and weakness. Okay, so this is what I'm getting about the UK, is that people are more apathetic and probably more fearful than in 2023. British people need to step into their courage, basically. Also, what I got about the UK is that humility is required, because there's a chance to hit rock bottom. So there's a chance for the country to hit rock bottom if certain things aren't handled carefully. I also got that the old ways can no longer bring resolution in the UK, so similar energies to the European Union. So there are some changes, and what I got was that leadership needs to be examined carefully. I think I got that last year as well, because 2024 will be the year of red flags that should not be ignored, that should not be swept under the rug. Okay, strong fear-based energy, as I said, so there's like this apathetic energy, and British people need to be more courageous, and their voice needs to be heard. So people need to be courageous in 2024, and they need to speak up. So we are talking about the collective, but everything comes down to the individual level and individual healing. So you cannot be heard, your voice cannot be heard properly if you have not been through certain healing processes as an individual. Okay, so the collective cannot proceed forward without healing, basically. All right, also I got that things can only be established in the country if people give their consent. So if people agree. So there might be certain attempts to introduce certain things and establish certain things in 2024 in the UK, but that can only be happening if people give their consent. If people are willingly tuning into a particular reality and are giving their consent for certain things to happen. All right. What I got about the CBDC was also that it's in the works. It is in the planning, so there will be some signs already of it. This is what I feel intuitively, that UK will see signs of that. Maybe there will be some piloting or some incentives as well of people. Maybe about the universal basic income as well, but I didn't ask specifically, but I'm just getting that now intuitively. Also, I got that even if it's in the stages of planning and there are like important works towards that, there will be no real strategy. So the strategy is weak. This is what I'm getting. The strategy is still weak, and expansion depends on people's consent. What I get is that it isn't fully established in 2024, so it isn't fully introduced in 2024, and there's a strong possibility that it will be lacking real foundation and a planning. So there are some cracks in the planning and also in the foundation and in the strategy. Also, I got that it depends on the rest of the world. Okay, so UK's position, very interestingly, depends on the rest of the world and the willingness of the rest of the world to adopt CBDC. And it depends on partnerships as well. It depends how the rest of the globe views the introduction. The UK cannot operate independently in that sense. Okay. What I forgot to mention about the EU, I'm so sorry, I'm just so disorganized. I forgot to mention about the EU, guys, that the level of consciousness of the EU in 2023, so the average level was 100, and now in 2024 will be 75, so the level of grief. So that is interesting, that is decreasing. What I got about the UK in that sense is that the average, so the average consciousness level or energetic level of the UK in 2023 was 150, and in 2024 will be 125. Okay, so it was anger, and it will be decreasing to the level of desire, 125 in 2024. So there's a decrease in the level of the consciousness. All right, so this is the UK. Let's get into the US. So I was asking about the US as well. And what I got about the US was that the US needs to see beyond the glittery surface and needs to address the cracks in the system. Okay, so there are some serious cracks in the US system, be it financial system and governance as well. US people, okay, so Americans need to see beyond the glittery surface, just as in the EU I got, and they need to see everything that is rotten. Okay, so there are certain things that are rotten, and they need to see beyond that. Okay, what I got very strongly about the US was that there's this energy of recapitulation. So there are certain energies that are coming back from the past for review in 2024. The strong dominant energy is a recapitulation. So certain cycles are repeating themselves, and there's a need to learn harsh lessons from the past. Okay, so certain harsh lessons need to be learned from the past in order for the US people to understand certain things. There's a need to learn also past energies, so what the past energies were representing, and past energies coming back for review, as I said. So there are some patterns which were not understood by people, so there will be strong energy of, okay, we need to repeat the past and we need to go through certain things again in order to understand what happened and in order to understand how we can do better in the future. So there are certain unhealed traumas related to past events on an individual level as well and collective level. Okay, so lessons need to be learned in order to establish peace. So peace is really comes down to these lessons, and these lessons will be related to peace, to understand what peace is not. Okay, so in order to understand what is peace, you have to understand what is not peace. What I got was that the US is challenged in 2024 to break cycles, and certain lessons aren't integrated. And a particular lesson probably is not integrated yet, so the US will be challenged to do that in 2024. Fear, envy, procrastination, greed, financial upheavals, financial insecurities can be present in 2024 as well. However, on a positive note, there is a chance for more freedom, and freedom can be achieved by addressing these issues. Okay, so these issues need to come to the surface again. They need to resurface in order for certain lessons to be learned and in order for freedom to be established and achieved. All right, so repeating lessons can be related to revolution, conflict, wars, money, resources, and finances for the US in 2024. Also, I feel like there's a big chance for spiritual awakening more people to really be awakened, and there's a chance for peace in the future. But for that, in order to establish that, finally, the country needs to go through some upheavals. Okay, so CBDC is in planning stage. It's in the works. This is what I got also. There's a potential piloting. Okay, however, people are seeing through the BS and they are too suspicious and too awakened to agree easily with the introduction of the CBDC. So the chance is higher not to be introduced, for the CBDC not to be introduced in 2024 than to be introduced. Okay, so there's a high chance that it won't be yet. And I also got that it depends on other countries. So there's a dependence on other countries, perhaps the UK as well. So there's like a tie between the US and the UK, and the UK is also being dependent probably on the US and the financial system in the US as well. So these two countries, what I feel is that they are being connected in that sense. So the speed in which it will be introduced, this new digital currency, will be dependent on the UK, and UK will depend also on the US. Okay, as in terms of the consciousness level and average consciousness level, 2023 was fear, and 2024 will be much less in the US, unfortunately. What I got was that it will be half of it, so it will be the level of apathy and strong fear-based energy, and I believe that this is very necessary in the US. Okay, so the idea here is that we don't need to be afraid, or people in the US don't need to be afraid, and we just need to go. We need to roll with the changes, because certain lessons are necessary and certain lessons need to be integrated. Okay, Canada. So what I got about Canada was delays. Okay, delays and a sense of urgency. The dominant energy in Canada is a sense of urgency, but on the other hand, there are some delays. So perhaps there's a sense of urgency because there are some delays in certain changes. What I got was that there's a need to make amends and to tie certain loose ends. So there's a need to close certain cycles for Canadian people. And Canadian people need to get out of their comfort zones and need to make things happen. Okay, so what I got was like a strong energy of, we have an idea about what we want, but we don't have the courage to make it happen, sort of. Because what I feel is that many people, there's this strong energy of a dreamy state. Okay, so many people are in this dreamy, illusionary state. Too much talking, dreaming, desiring, but a lack of putting things into action and a lack of understanding things and really going for things. Okay, so there's a lack of masculine energy and going forward with courage. A lack of making decisions as well. So there's a lack of decision making in the collective. So I'm not talking about the leadership. That can be the case in the leadership as well. However, what I got strongly is that it is the collective. Okay, so it's the Canadian people. I got that there's a need to change perspectives and to see that there's another way of doing things in 2024. So the old ways don't need to be in that way. So we don't need to do anything in the old way, in that traditional way. There's a need for acting and acting differently. There's a chance for a breakthrough also, and for a realization of what was a desire. Okay, so manifesting the desires of the collective. Okay, so what was and what has been a desire and a dream can be put into action, can be manifested. So there's a chance for that, but for that there's a need to act. Also, I got that acting against injustice, political corruption, and the financial sector related issues is needed. So Canadian people need to speak up against that and need to act when it comes to injustice, corruption, and issues in the financial sector. Okay, no more room for avoiding conflict. There's a potential for a public figure to fall from grace. This is what I got. So there is a probability someone that is influential or someone that is in the spotlight to fall from grace, and revealing of corruption. Okay, so certain things might happen, or certain things might kick in 2024 that are related to corruption and are related to injustice. So injustice might see the light of the day. Okay, what I got about the CBDC was stronger than in other countries. So I got like a 50-50 chance. So there's a bigger chance, there's a higher chance for the CBDC to be introduced in Canada. And Canadians aren't seeing beyond the dangers of the CBDC. This is what I got. So many Canadians don't understand that. So maybe the majority of the country doesn't understand that. But I got that there's a need also to see beyond the illusions in that sense. Many people are being sold the wrong idea in 2024 about CBDC. They don't really see through the dangers of it and what it means, something to be completely tracked and programmed. Okay, it's programmable, CBDC, and people don't understand what that means. They don't understand that that is actually endangering their human rights, and that can be violating their human rights as well. Okay, in terms of the energies, what I got was that 2023 was the level of fear, just as in the US. Okay, so the average energetic level was fear. 2024 will be grief, so 75, which is the level of grief. Little bit higher than in the US, a little bit higher. All right, so this is Canada, guys, and yeah, let's see Australia. So what I got about Australia is that the dominant energy is separation and cracks in the foundation. Okay, so there are certain cracks in the foundation that probably were quite obvious, especially after 2020. Certain cracks, and there was a wrong definition of what freedom is. Okay, so no one was expecting Australia to be in the position that it was. And in 2024, what I felt intuitively and what I got was that there's a transitional period for Australia. Okay, so it's going through a transitional period. I got this energy of a calm before the storm, and that it isn't the right time. It is not the right time for taking certain decisions or for certain things to change completely. Okay, so Australia is going through this transitional period, and there's a need for this pause and maybe taking a step back. There's an energy of a temporary pause or setback, and the need to ask questions about how to proceed forward. Okay, so before we are jumping to conclusions or before we are taking certain decisions, we need to see what is really going on, and need to see how we can proceed forward. Okay, and a need to ask questions and to understand what is really happening. What I got also is that there's a time for examining the past few years especially, and the deep contemplation. It's time for a deep contemplation instead of denying the truth. So there's this energy, and there's this direction of denying what happened. So what I got is that people are in denial, and they tend to forget about what happened. So many things now are less severe than they were before in Australia, and people tend to forget about that. So it is time to examine what happened in the past few years and to stop denying the truth. And there's a possibility for blind spots or understanding the collective karma. Okay, so there's a possibility to understand blind spots, and also there's a possibility for not understanding collective karma, but then by not understanding collective karma, paradoxically, you have a chance to understand it better. Okay, so Australian people, if they start working through their blind spots, they will understand better what collective karma is, because there are certain karmic energies that need to be integrated also in Australia, in the collective. Okay, there's an energy of pretense, so not only denial but also pretense. And what I got was that there are some international affairs and possible alliances being formed. So maybe Australia will be partnering with other countries, and maybe certain countries in Asia as well. I don't know why I'm feeling that intuitively. And there's a forming of alliances as a defense mechanism. So I don't know what that means, but what I got was that there's a possible forming of alliances as a defense mechanism. So defending the country against something. Okay, I got I was asking about the CBDC, and what I got was that there's a higher chance to be introduced in Australia in 2024 than in the UK. But we are talking about chances here, really, because nothing is set in stone. There are certain choices in regards to the CBDC, so the central bank digital currency, that might be regretted by people and the collective, or plans might be going wrong. Okay, certain plans in regards to the CBDC might be going wrong in 2024, but there's a choice to make. Okay, so there's an important choice to make for Australian people in that sense. What I got was also illusions, that there's a strong energy of illusions, similar to Canada, about the CBDC, that people are misinformed about it. They don't know about the dangers, they don't understand the dangers of CBDC and what that means in terms of freedom and human rights. Okay, so if people don't and didn't learn in Australia the lessons of the past 3 years about freedom, then they will need to repeat certain lessons about the CBDC and losing their freedom because they are not aware with the red flags. Okay, so in terms of the average consciousness level and energy level and frequency, 2024 will be the level of fear, but there's a decrease because 2023 was the level of desire. So interestingly, Australia is on a higher level, like in that sense, just because it has been through certain things before. So it will be on a higher level than, for example, the US in 2024. So that is very interesting. Okay, so that was Australia. Let's see Russia. So I was asking about Russia, and what I got about the country was that there's a strong, very, very strong karmic energy about being marginalized. Okay, very strong lessons about what it means to be marginalized. So us as a group to be marginalized compared to the rest of the world, and a very strong yang, like a masculine cycle for Russia. Okay, so there's a masculine cycle for Russia, but what I got was a more integrated masculine cycle than before. Okay, so not the shadow side of masculinity, but a more integrated, more wholesome masculine energy. And that means that the feminine energies and certain feminine aspects have been already integrated in the country. Okay, there's a karmic payback as well in 2024, so strong karmic energies or a karmic balancing as well. So there will be some karmic balancing and certain karmic lessons that the country is going through. What I got was that certain loyal countries to Russia might turn their back to it. Okay, so they might turn their back to Russia, and that is serving as a lesson about being ostracized. Okay, so there are some karmic lessons about being ostracized and marginalized and banished. Also, what I got was fears related to losses, an identity crisis, and a sense of belonging being challenged. So those are the karmic lessons being related to being ostracized, and uncertainty about fitting in, which also is a karmic lesson. And as in terms of the average energy level, 2023 was 150, which is the level of anger, and it's not changing. It's going to be the same in 2024. Okay, so the level of anger, which is a higher level than the Western countries, for example, or the EU. So that is very interesting. And okay, it's the level of anger, it's still below courage, and it's still very negative energy, but the level of anger is holding a lot of power as well, because anger is a turning point, and anger is something on which you can build courage. Okay, so higher level of consciousness, higher level of understanding than the Western society, very interestingly. Okay, so that was Russia. I was asking about Ukraine. Ukraine is also going through an identity crisis in 2024, and the sense of belonging is being challenged as for Russia. Okay, so similar energies being marginalized, but not being marginalized probably in a sense that we are being banished, as Russia, for example, but probably more like a sense of victimhood and why it is happening to us and why it's not happening to the rest of the world sort of energy, which is quite understandable. Okay, but on a positive note, what I got was that there's a finding the silver lining in the most uncertain times. So like serendipitous events and a silver lining and probably some sense of hope in the middle of the crisis. Okay, there's a strong energy of learning from red flags and about betrayal and the possible partnership or belonging to a larger group. So I don't know what that means. Probably belonging to, I don't know, NATO, European, whatever. I don't know what that means. But there is a possible partnership or belonging to a larger group. Okay, there are certain conclusions that might be distorted and wrong, that might be blocked judgment. Okay, so what I got was that there's a blocked judgment in the country, and there are certain conclusions that might be faulty in Ukraine, or certain decisions that might be faulty as well. But the leader, it is what it is. I think many of us are understanding what I'm talking about here. So when a country is going through a crisis situation, it is inevitable to be dealing with some blocked judgment as well and faulty decisions. Okay, that is inevitable because a crisis situation means desperation, despair, and that means that certain things we are doing out of fear, and we are doing certain things out of this sense of despair, energy of despair. I also got that there's a need for a different perspective, vulnerability, and losses related to being weakened. Okay, so the country might be very vulnerable and might be weak because of what happened in the past years. So there's this destabilization kind of energy. So the country might be destabilized. But what I got on a positive note is that you have a chance. So Ukrainian people have a chance to find the silver lining in the most uncertain times and in the middle of this particular crisis, even though the country is being destabilized. Okay, as the average energy, 2023 was 50, so the level of apathy, which is understandable. Okay, there was a war, so that is the level of losing faith completely and depending on the help of other people. That is the energy of war, that level of apathy. But 2024 for Ukraine will be a higher level, so it will be the level of fear, which is 100, and that is a big change because that is double. Okay, so from 50 to 100, that is a big increase. So the average energy will be fear. All right, so this is Ukraine. China. Okay, I was asking about China as well, and I got that there are some important decisions for China about certain changes in the country, and there's a possibility for alliances that is bringing alteration in the country. So there are certain things that need to be altered and need to be rethought in the country, but there are some important decisions that are coming for China in 2024. A need for people to act and get out of passivity and to get out of that apathetic state, because what I got strongly is that there's a need for closing certain cycles and for finishing certain lessons, and there's a chance for passivity and for this apathetic energy to go to an extreme. Okay, and for this submissive energy to go to an extreme in 2024, because China needs to get into its courage. So Chinese people need to get into their courage, and that apathetic state might go to an extreme because of that. The average energy level, okay, of China in 2023 was the level of fear, and in 2024 will be the level of guilt. So there is a very big decrease. There is a very big drop, unfortunately. So it will be the level of guilt. So very, very low level. But that needs to happen in order for Chinese people to wake up. So this is China, and then I was asking about Israel and Gaza as well. So what I got in Israel and Gaza, like as dominant energy, was changes and sudden shifts in 2024. We will be hearing in the news about Israel and Gaza in 2024, Israel and Palestine. And the conflict and the war serves as a turning point in 2024. Okay, so there's a chance for a turning point. And I feel like there's a chance for a turning point not only in this territory but on a global level because of the conflict that is going on there. I got that 2024 will be about uncertainty about the war situation and the loss of safety for people, unfortunately. Communication and the need to see beyond the surface for people is needed. So it is needed on both sides to see beyond the surface and to see beyond what is really going on the surface and who is pulling the strings. I feel like there will be a lot of communication back and forth, and as I said, we will be hearing a lot about these countries or about this particular conflict between Palestine and Israel. Important decision making and changes might happen in 2024 that might impact the rest of the world. Secrets that might see the light of the day, so certain secrets might be revealed in 2024. And I got that even though certain secrets might come to the surface, the reality is still being obscured, and there are some hidden influences that are operating from the background. So there are some hidden powers, hidden forces that are operating from the background that are pulling the strings, okay? And there's a necessary choice that needs to be made, or a necessary decision sort of energy, decision making based by hidden forces. Okay, so certain choices are not being made, I feel like, by people. I mean, what a surprise, right? The majority of decisions and choices and things that we are hearing in the news and in the mainstream media are being made by those that are operating from the background. What I got, that this particular conflict and war is an initiation for peace. Okay, so it's an initiation for people to get to a higher level of understanding and to achieve peace at a certain point. Also, I feel like there are some invitations, okay, so there are some proposals of peace, or there are some works that are being made and steps towards a peaceful outcome, but that might not be authentic. Okay, so that needs to be examined carefully. I also feel like there will be loads of red flags and loads of false flags as well. Okay, red flags and false flags for the rest of the world to see the red flags, and also false flags which will serve as a means to an end, unfortunately. So those invitations and proposals for peace might not be authentic, and toxic and controlling energies, I feel like, will be very present in 2024, and the strong manipulation will be also present as well. Manipulation energy and manipulation tactics. Alliances might be formed as well, and the conflict might get bigger in 2024. So this is something that I got intuitively already as this conflict kicked in, that it has the potential to go bigger, and I feel like in 2024 there's a high chance for that, unfortunately. There's a joining of forces on a global level as well, so we might be seeing that too. And also what I got intuitively is that we have to watch out, and the rest of the world has to be careful about what they are seeing on the screen, because loads of those images that they are seeing are CGI. Okay, so they are computer generated images and they might be completely false. So this is why I feel like there's a big manipulation tactic that is going on, and there's a big psyop sort of energy that I feel like is going on in 2024. But all this needs to happen, all this illusion needs to happen in order for people to see beyond the mask and see beyond the surface, and to finally see those people that are in the background, and those people can no longer operate from the background as soon as they are being uncovered and as soon as are being seen by people. Okay, so devil is losing its power as soon as it's being revealed, and as soon as people are understanding what devil is and who is the devil, sort of. So I'm talking about the devil like in like metaphorically, but also some real satanic energies. As in terms of the energetic level and the frequency level of this war. 2023, so we are talking about the average, as average energies in 2023 were 125, so the level of desire, which is understandable because this war situation kicked in towards the end of the year, so in October. And 2024 will be the level of apathy. Okay, so like a real war situation and similar energies to Ukraine. All right, so this is what I am seeing about the countries. Obviously, I didn't have the possibility to check all the countries. I checked all the countries that I believe that are important here. All the countries are important, but whatever is happening, for example, in the US will be reflected in the rest of the world. And yeah, the EU as well is also playing a very important part in the changes in the world. As I said, the world average, so the average energy in the world and energetic level in 2023 was the level of willingness and between neutrality and willingness, but now unfortunately is decreasing, so it will be going back to being between anger 150 and pride, which is 175. So the average, like the world average, will be between 150 and 175. Alright guys, so this is what I'm seeing about the countries. I just want to remind all of you that things have to go to an extreme sometimes in order for them to get back to the middle, and in order for the integration to happen, and in order for certain lessons to be integrated. But the expansion can happen very quickly as well. So the world has the possibility to go through a big expansion as a result of these very low energies, because I checked the energies of 2025 and I already got energies that are increasing. Okay, so higher level of understanding on a global level, and 2026 will be even more. But we will see what comes and what happens in 2024. I believe that it won't be an easy year, but it will be worth it. Okay, so don't lose patience, please don't lose hope, because all these changes need to happen in order for things to be better and in order for peace to be established. Alright guys, so I hope that this resonated. Please subscribe to my channel. Please give this video a thumbs up if it resonated. If you want a personal reading, because I do readings, for those of you that don't know that, please let me know. Send me an email, or you can find information about them in the description box. Thanks so much everybody who is supporting my work on Patreon or everywhere. Thank you for your beautiful messages. If you want to contribute to my work, you will find some links down below: Buy Me a Coffee or Patreon, or there's a PayPal link as well. So guys, I wish everybody an amazing 2024. I wish you all the best, successes and expansion. And yeah, I cannot wait to see you next time. Bye.